Hello, this is Michael Owens with Digital Media History. This is my presentation on motion capture technology for the Spring 2017 course. First off, let's define motion capture. Motion capture is the process of recording a live motion event and translating it into usable mathematical terms by tracking a number of key points in space over time and combining them to obtain a single three-dimensional representation of the performance. One of the earliest forms of motion capture was called rotoscoping. This is where you would take photos of realistic human movements or real human movements, and the animator would trace the animation over those movements so that they could then play them back in a sequence, and you would have what you would hopefully end up with would be a realistic human movement. With the introduction of computers into motion capture technology, we began to be able to put sensors on humans and in different types of systems so that as they moved around we could track those movements, and then the computers could combine them and create 3D models so basically you're still copying the human movement, you're just doing it electronically. This first slide is an optical type system, whereas the person wearing the suit, they have reflective sensors and on a stage surrounded by light, and those light they pick up the reflections and map that out, and then once they do the post-processing, they can simulate that same movement by replaying the motion of those sensors. For magnetic capture systems, these are a little more cumbersome than the opticals. These require wires, and one of the biggest problems with them that I've found is sometimes those sensors interact with metal within the environment and give off false readings. So in the middle of your animation, something could have kind of just glitched out, and then you run into issues like that. For electromechanical suit systems, the sensors are placed on the joints of the moving object. There's no occlusion. There's really no interference. One of the biggest things is the human having to wear the suit, and those joints, I've read that they kind of get in the way sometimes, and they cause the human body to move in a way that sometimes isn't as natural as they would like it to be. Some issues with motion capture technology is when it's used, sometimes you get into a believability issue, as what this chart shows here. You can see the green there, where that's basically the viewer's attitude towards it. If it's green, it's likable. If it's red, it's really you just can't stand looking at it. So that uncanny valley, that's where animators try to stay out of in order for their products to be a success. Motion capture, or CGI, has been used for to bring back deceased stars such as Paul Walker. As we all know, Mr. Walker passed before the last Fast and Furious franchise movie, and they used his brother's body and put Walker's face on top of that body by still using motion capture. So they basically captured the motions of his brother's face and then put Paul's face on top of that. Films that have used motion capture Gollum from Lord of the Rings, which is one of the more well-known and successful ones. Polar Express with Tom Hanks. That was a full CGI film that I thought was really well. A lot of people said they didn't really like it all that much, but I thought it worked out good. The Incredible Hulk. Avatar, which you'll notice in the photo there, the actor with all the little spots on his face. It's actually been projected from that little thing hanging out in front of him, and that maps out his the movement of his face for expressions, and then it's transferred over to the Avatar characters. And that's basically it. So that's motion capture, and thank you very much.